Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinili podcast. Today we are going to be breaking down the 4 core areas of building and creating a profitable, sustainable, and inspiring business. It's that serious that I have written a bunch of notes because I do not want to miss anything. So if you're watching this, this is what I'm referring to. So I give you all of the juiciness. This podcast episode is for you if you have just started your business and you haven't made $1 yet, or it's for you if you're hitting those 100K months. I have created this episode to be a listen when you are at a part in your business where you feel that maybe you've plateaued or you feel that you are doing everything you possibly can and things aren't shifting and your nervous system can't seem to adapt to brand new changes. This is why I have created this episode, because I'm going to be sharing the 4 core areas that I only want you to focus on and look at. Sometimes with business, if not 80% of the time, it can feel really, really messy and sticky. Over the past couple of years, I've been working quite hard to get my business to a point where I can now take a big step back and reassess my business ecosystem, reassess my marketing, reassessing how I am moving forward and what I am creating. But let me tell you, I am in the process for the rest of this year of cleaning up the stickiness, the messiness. And so I'm sharing with you this podcast episode because wherever you are at, like I said, you've made $1, you've made $100,000 this month. It does not matter. Wherever you are at, these are going to be 4 core areas that I want you to assess and properly assess when it comes to your business. If you are serious about creating a profitable business, if you are serious about creating a business that makes an impact, if you are serious, most importantly, of creating a business that is sustainable. I work with so many business owners, and let me tell you, one thing that I can see when we dive straight into their business ecosystem, when we dive into their marketing, when we dive into what they're offering, it's messy. And yeah, it may be working, but it's not sustainable. And this is coming from someone that in 2022, if you looked at my business on paper, if you looked at my revenue, my profit margins, it looked great. It looked really, really good, but it was not sustainable. I was so burnt out. I was so resentful. 2022, even though on paper it looked really good, it was not a good year for me in business mentally and emotionally. It made me really question, do I want to be a business owner? Now, I'm not going to say that what I'm going to give you today, you're never going to question yourself, right? I think a rite of passage as an entrepreneur is agreeing to the fact that you are going to have that deep thought of, should I get a 9-to-5 job? Should I just get a 9-to-5 job instead of being a business owner a couple of times a year? Trust me, I get it. I understand. But I want you to be able to come out of that. I want you to build the resilience and the tenacity of being able to know that even when something feels like you've plateaued, even when something feels like, okay, I don't know the answer, I feel like I've tried it all, come back to this checklist, if that's what we want to call it. Now, I have a methodology that I use with all of my clients. I have 2 types of clients. I have business owner clients, and then I have my career women. My business owner clients who want to create a business that creates money, that sustains their lifestyle, that feeds their soul, and then the career women who really want to work on their self-concept, their subconscious identity, how they feel about themselves, how they perceive themselves in this world. But also what I see a lot of the time is these career women, and it's probably, the like attracts like, they also get ideas for starting a business. And with both of my clients, I have a woman mastery methodology. So the woman mastery methodology is split into this. It is the high level CEO business strategy, and then it is the subconscious mastery. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of both. And like I said, it is 4 core things that I'm going to be sharing with you. So make sure that you get out your pen and your journal, you're taking notes on your phone as you're listening. If you're driving, obviously don't do that, but make sure you come back to this, make notes, make this as a checklist, and it is something that you should be evaluating and assessing these 4 areas every week, but on a bigger scale, and it's right at the time of this recording. It is the end of March, so I'm doing this for quarter 2. But every quarter, you should be diving deep and looking at how is everything I'm doing in these each 4 sections affecting my business. Is it serving me, or is it doing me a disservice? Did it used to work and now it's not working for me? Because something that I see a lot of the time as business owners, and I have been here, so I say this with so much love, is sometimes we have a habit of seeing something that has worked, and then we keep doing it. It's like, what's the saying? Beating a dead horse. It's basically like that. You just keep doing it. You're working harder. You get more resentful. You burnt out. We don't want you to burn out. We want you to get to the point where you can tell, all right, it's discernment. I need to take a break. I need to have a rest. But we also need to learn how to pivot, how to shift, how to move things when they need to be moved, how to properly analyze and look at everything that's happening, all the parts that are happening in our business. So get your pen, get your journal, get your phone notes, whatever you need to do. Let's start making notes. I've done this in the order that I would normally share with my clients, but I'm actually going to start at the more strategy based, and then we're going to go into the more of the subconscious mastery based. So the first one is CEO visibility. I'm just going to read to you the definition that I have written down for each of these off my computer, because I don't want to do you a disservice. I want to teach you exactly what you need to know. So CEO visibility. Visibility isn't about going viral or being trendy. It's about showing up as a recognizable authority, someone who creates consistent content that drives sales, not just engagement. So CEO visibility is all around your content. Content is king. Let me say that again. Content is king. You really need to get behind the notion, and this started to shift things in me and stir something emotionally in me when I really started to embody this over a year and a half ago. I'm a business owner, coach first, but I am a content creator second. Now, if you're a business owner, you may like listen to that and be like, I'm not a content, I don't want to associate with, I don't care. You don't need to tell anyone you're a content creator, but you are. Content is king. Content is the way that you get your expertise in front of people. This is how we get eyes on who we are and what we are selling. This is what creates traffic. Traffic creates leads. Leads create sales. You need content, and you need to start taking your content more seriously. The other 2 parts of what I'm going to share when it comes to the strategy are going to also feed into this, but I really want you to start to think of your content game. Content strategy isn't showing up, posting on Instagram every day and on your stories. It's not posting on TikTok 3 times a day. It's not creating a new carousel post every single day. Taking your content seriously means assessing what is working, not only in your industry, but what is working for you. Like, what is your audience actually liking? Because what I've seen most of the time with myself and with my clients, it's not what you like that is going to do well. Now, I will contradict myself a little bit here. It does not mean just make content for your ideal client and not focus on content that is what you enjoy. That's what I would really call lifestyle content. It doesn't necessarily drive any sales or the engagement that you may want for your business, but what it will do, it will connect to people. It's a connection piece of content. So instead of posting generic content, instead of posting things that everyone else is saying or what can be Googled easily, I need you to be sharing your expertise on social media. Something I put here is being able to share the behind the scenes insights to your client transformations. If you do carousels on Instagram, make sure you're speaking directly to the pain points. And being able to shift someone's perspective. So let's go through a couple of examples of client. You've got perspective shifting client. As it sounds, you are shifting someone's perspective on a certain topic, your topic of expertise. So maybe you are a nutritionist and you have a certain methodology. Maybe everyone believes in the keto diet, but you have another way to do things. You would be making posts that is shifting their perspective, not shame marketing. There's been a lot of that in the past couple of years, where I'm noticing in the industry, there's a lot of like, you're doing this wrong, attack, attack, attack. We're not attacking. We are just peeling the eyes open on our ideal client and showing, hey, here's another way to think of this. I'm showing my expertise, but just start to think of it differently. So we've got perspective shifting. I mentioned connection content. It is how it sounds. You are, and all of these are, you are connecting to your ideal client. You're connecting to your audience. You may be sharing things about your lifestyle. You may be sharing things. I don't really share in my content my romantic relationship, my relationship with my partner, because I'm not a relationship coach or a therapist. It's not a core pillar. But in my lifestyle content, and maybe it might be a trend that I really like, I may share bits of him. I may share bits of with my friends. So again, what is the connection piece of content that you can share with your audience that is going to connect on a deeper emotional level? It's not just, okay, here, let me shift your perspective on how to eat better. Next one, storytelling content. Storytelling content is the best type of content. Telling a story, sharing your ways. How did you get to where you are? How did you get towards your methodology? How did you learn your expertise? Why should I trust you to buy from you? Tell your story over and over and over again. Take bits of a bigger story. So for me, for example, I quit my job, I moved to Bali and I started a business. But I can also go in a bit more micro. What was happening in Bali? What was the process of actually starting up my business? What actually led me to the point of quitting my job? What did I used to believe? You can take bits from your story and create micro stories. And that's a little activity that I would encourage you to do. Is actually think about the over the past 5 to 10 years, what are your main bits of story? Like, what would you want people to connect with you on and you can tell a story on? And then what are the micro bits in that? A big part of my story is moving to Brisbane with my partner, running my business from Brisbane. That's a bit of a mouthful. And also doing a shitload of traveling. But in that, what are the micro moments that are adding up that are going to connect to your ideal partner? Tell stories. Being an expert in your industry isn't just, I'm going to tell you and show you what to do. It's being able to relate. It's being able to show, hey, I know exactly what you're going through, or I've been there. And then the last one would be edufluential. So educational and influential content. Content that is the how-tos, it's the mistakes, it's the lessons, it's the case studies. You're showing, it's the social proof. So you're educating. It's all about educating your audience, but also influencing them. Now, sometimes I get asked the question, so what's the difference between the perspective shifting and the edufluential? The perspective shifting, you're sharing beliefs, you're sharing your way of seeing life, and you're bringing it back to what you're selling, right? We're going to go into that in a second. The edufluential is really showing, like, how are you going to get me a transformation? Show me the other transformations that you've got in other people and how did you get there? Don't just show me the screenshot of your client celebrating a 10K month or your client celebrating losing 10 kilos. Teach me the process, or teach me a part of that. Teach me, you could do a carousel slide or a talking head reel showing, okay, my client lost 10 kilos. Here are 3 out of 5 modalities that we went through in the past 6 months to get her here. The other 2, I teach you in depth, plus the rest of this in depth in my nutrition program or whatever it may be. See, you want to show people, and all of these types of content are created to bring in people into your world, to learn from you, to create more traffic, that creates more leads, that creates sales. Because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. Content is king. This pillar, CEO visibility. Next one, CEO influence. This is where you develop magnetic messaging. You're not just informing your audience, you're influencing how they think, what they believe is possible, and why they need your offer. Messaging is a huge one. It's how we connect to human beings. It's how we make our ideal client understand that I understand and that I have a solution for your problem. In your messaging, within your marketing, so within your content, within your stories, within your captions, within your reels, your TikToks, your messaging needs to relate. Gone are the days of the fluff of how to be more confident, how to change your mindset, how to lose weight. Surface level. We're beyond that as an economy. We're beyond that as consumers. Your messaging needs to speak to the subconscious motivators and desires of your ideal client. You also need to speak to the pain point, the symptoms of what's happening. So it's not just come join this program and lose 8 kilos. You're going to feel more confident with life. This program is going to teach you to feel the best you've ever felt and finally start going on those Tinder dates you keep ghosting. Now, that was just a quick example that I've made up. But do you see the difference with join this program and be more confident versus you're going to have the confidence of someone who is going to be smashing out Tinder dates that you've been avoiding for the past 2 years because you are looking for the love of your life. I'm speaking to not only the subconscious pain points, but I'm speaking also to the motivators, the desires of the client. And this is what CEO influence is. How are you influencing people in the best, most ethically way possible? Of I understand you, I see you. And then on top of that, it's about being able to articulate the solution to the problem. You can come up with the best product, the best offer in the entire world. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to, number one, understand the desires and the pains of your ideal client. But number two, be able to articulate how and why you and your offer, your mastermind, your group coaching, your program, your course is a solution to their problem. Their problem isn't they have no confidence. Their problem is that they haven't been on a date in 5 years because they don't like the way they look in clothes. Their problem isn't they can't make money in their business. The problem is they don't have the correct systems to create content that is going to get them in front of people who are going to buy them their stuff. Magnetic messaging will change your business. Being able to properly articulate yourself as a solution for a problem. There is I don't know who made it up, but it's the caveman test, like caveman 5-second grunt test. You need to be able to land on your sales page or your story, your Instagram story or your caption. I need to be able to do that. And in 5 seconds, I can understand it. 5 seconds, I can understand exactly what your offer is, what you're doing for me. And then I read on. That's how we get people in. Too much fluff. I see too much fluff with business owners, not just with the women that come and start and work with me, but I like to do a lot of market research and I read captions, I read stories, and I think I understand from a business perspective, from a strategic perspective, what you're trying to sell because I do this. I've done this with hundreds of women. But your audience doesn't. Sally, scrolling on Instagram, knows she isn't confident. But the reason she's not clicking buy on your nutrition program is because you haven't spoken to her and told her, hey, I understand I wasn't going on dates for 2 years because I didn't want to wear any dresses. That's what she connects to. See how the content and the messaging, they go hand in hand. Messaging, key. Now, third one, CEO strategy. Strategy is about selling smarter, not harder. It's where you build systems, launch plans, and offers that stack income with ease without burning out or flying blind. Have you ever created something and you just sell it for the sake of selling it, or you think showing up is selling it on your Instagram, a few slides, or you think it's, the call to action, or you think you're going to just try really, really hard for this month and launch, and you do this big runway for launch, which, by the way, this is another topic in itself. I'm not going to get into, what's the correct amount of time for launches. But you just kind of just go with the flow. I see this with so many business owners. And again, with so much love, because I used to do this. You just kind of go with the flow. Okay, I have an offer. I'll sell it every day. I'll show up on my stories. There's no flow. There's no funnel. There's no ecosystem. There's no way, the amount of times that I have maybe consumed like a TikTok or a reel of someone. And I'm like, okay, I like what you're saying. You're hitting my pain points here. Your messaging on this particular video is great. Then I go to their link in bio, or I try find some way to pay them or some free lead magnet. And it's so damn hard. Stop making it hard for people to pay you. It should be so simple. So sales isn't about how many times I'm going to launch a year or what story slide will I post today. It's about creating a space where it's so damn easy for people to buy from you, to hand over their credit card. And not even that, when it comes to your free lead magnet, it should be so simple. There's been so many times where I can't even find the free podcast or the free lead magnet they're speaking about in their caption. I can't find anything. It's crazy. And so start to make it so simple, the flow, right? If we look at the flow of sales and a product offer suite, it needs to be free lead magnet, right? This is how we're going to get new eyes. This is how people are going to have more of a taste of you, right? From your content on, say, Instagram or TikTok. Maybe you've got a masterclass, maybe you've got a PDF, a private podcast, whatever it is. We've got a free lead magnet. People opt in. They are now invested in you. From there should be something that is low ticket, up to, I don't know, $150, $150 US, and speaking in US dollars, right? A lower ticket, even maybe 150 is too much. It just really depends. Like, I would need to look at your entire business product suite. Then you've got mid-ticket, the group coaching, the mastermind. Maybe you have in there like an evergreen course. And then you have the high ticket, the one-on-one, the VIP days, the retreats. Do you need all of this? No. You could have your free lead magnet could be your content, which tells them to opt in. You want more? Here, I have an $11 PDF that is going to help you implement this strategy. Then from there, maybe every 3 months you have an intake of your mastermind. That it doesn't need to hit every tier, but it does need to go through this ladder system. People need to evolve with you. Are you going to admit, I've had people in my DMs, they started consuming me a week before. They haven't opted into my free lead magnet, just my content. And they've said, hey, what's the process of applying for your one-on-one? And then I've had people that have gone up the ladder. Every free lead magnet, my low ticket, then my mid ticket. It's a process. They're getting warmer, and then my one-on-one. It's different for everyone, but this is why we focus on our content, right? We can't always just have content that is created for people where you think, just going back on content for a moment, it's not always just about creating this education, because sometimes, or, the how-to or the perspective shift, you need content that is going to get people, new eyes, into your awareness. Sometimes people don't know that they have a nutrition problem. Sometimes people don't know they have a subconscious problem. Sometimes people don't know that they have a messaging problem. Maybe sometimes people don't know that they have I don't know, I'm trying to think of other industries, a hormonal problem. So we need the top of funnel content. Again, that's a whole other episode in itself. But top of funnel content that gets people in. But back to what I was saying, the sales, right? You need to have a ladder where people can be invested in you for a certain amount of time. Sometimes that might be a week. Other times that might be 6 months. I had someone come into my one-on-one. She's only on my email list, and she was on my email list 3 years before she messaged me. And then she said, I want to do one-on-one with you. And she hadn't done anything else. She didn't even follow me on Instagram, just consuming my email. So start to think about your sales strategy. Start to think of, I've just put here, your types of launches, how you're warming your audience up with intentional content, how you're stacking offers so they lead naturally. I should look at your product suite, ecosystem, and I should be able to see the flow. It should be natural. It shouldn't be chunky. There shouldn't be a million things and a million offerings. It should be so simple, because the more simple you make it for yourself and sell what you really want to sell and really perfect your content and your messaging and your sales process, the more you will sell and the more sustainable it's going to be. I put here, with sales, it's not about flukes. It's about expecting sales, knowing when they're coming in, understanding what is working and what isn't working, always having a way for people to buy from you. Look at your entire ecosystem of how you're selling. If you're just showing up in your stories every day, posting Canvas slides, you're posting call to actions in your reels, maybe you're doing some long form content on YouTube and it's in your show notes, and that's it, and it doesn't make sense what people are clicking on or your ecosystem, go back to the drawing board. I'm a visual person, so I actually like to, when I do my reflection every quarter, I like to just draw it out and see where is everything heading. And this year, like I shared with you, this is where I'm really tightening things up. A nice, flowy business, sustainable, profitable ecosystem. That's what we want. Now, the last one, probably the most important, CEO identity. This is about mastering the mindset, emotional intelligence, and self-concept required to lead and grow your business like a real CEO, not just a coach or a service provider. It's about how you think, how you lead, and how you show up under pressure. If you are continuously procrastinating, if you are continuously not understanding how to discern between you actually need to rest and your mind and your body and your nervous system is sabotaging you, you've got work to do in your identity. If you are still showing up with the energy of, and you want to make something big, and if you're watching this, you probably do. And I don't mean big, like it doesn't have to be 1 million people. It could be 500 people, 100 people. 500 is still a lot. But if you want to make an impact, you need to see yourself as that person. You need to truly feel in your heart that you are that person. You can't see yourself as someone who is always struggling. What has gotten you to this current level as you are watching or listening to this will not get you to the next level. And I have had to learn that the hard way. It will not get you to the next level. You need to quite literally identity work. This is business and life overall. It's about identifying as someone else, brainwashing yourself to be someone else. You want $50,000 months. Do you see yourself as $50,000 months, or do you see yourself struggling to make $6,000 a month? And you never get any traction on your reels. You never get any viral TikToks. You're afraid to sell more because you're afraid of being annoying. You're afraid to shift perspectives, but you really, really want to make $50,000 a month, $20,000, $100,000. You want to make $1 million, $2 million a year, whatever it is. Think big. Have your long-term vision. You need to rewire the fears that are keeping you from catapulting into the next level. CEO identity is true subconscious mastery of yourself. And every new level, there is a new devil. So don't think like, let's say you're at 5K months now. Don't think you're going to hit the elusive $10,000 months and it's all sweet. No, you're going, what if the next thing is 15, 20, you're going to have to upgrade. And even though it sounds so obvious, So many business owners miss out on this. They do the things that I'm saying. They start to work on their content. They start to work on their messaging. They start to work on their sales process, their ecosystem. Oh my goodness, my throat. Pause for a second. I was like, I can feel my voice about to crack. Anyway, they work on all of these strategic things, but you cannot run a business without the identity. You just cannot. Full stop. Period. You will only be as successful as your belief system. And what does your belief system believe? Who do you see yourself as? Do you wake up every morning and you do your visualization meditation and you're like, okay, I'm going to hit $100,000 months and I'm so excited. And then throughout your whole day, you're stressing about what you're posting on Instagram. You take 1,000,000 hours to write a carousel post. You always say that you want to do YouTube. I say this to call myself out. I was saying for years, I'm going to do YouTube, I'm going to shoot. I didn't really properly start till the end of last year, right? That's me holding myself back. So again, so much love, because everything I'm sharing with this, like, I understand, but you have to show up differently. You have to actually get crystal clear on who that version is of yourself that you want to become, of what you're creating in your business, who you want to be seen as a leader, the results that you actually want. And then you need to start acting like it. You need to quite literally, consciously and unconsciously rewrite the narratives and the stories that you are telling yourself. You need to rewrite the conscious and unconscious stories that you are telling about yourself. Your identity, the way that you see yourself, the way that you perceive yourself, will make or break you in business. You can have the best strategy, content planner, copywriting in the entire world. But if you see yourself as someone who is struggling, that doesn't always get it right, if you see yourself as someone making ends meet, if you see yourself as someone who will never be seen in the algorithm, that is what you are going to create. And that is what I see so many business owners struggle with when they come to me. And this is why I wanted to leave See Your Identity to last. The last of the 4 core areas of a profitable, sustainable, and inspiring business. Do your damn identity work. Do it. Because the other 3, they are always going to be working in progress. I mean, so is identity, but it needs to be at the forefront of your mind. I hope that you have enjoyed and gotten so much juice from this podcast episode. I love doing business podcast episodes. I thoroughly enjoyed recording this and creating this. Let me know your thoughts. If you're watching here on YouTube, let me know in the comments. What was your biggest takeaway? What is one of the points that you really need to start working on and focusing on? If you're listening to this, come slide into my DMs at Jess Pinili. Let me know. Let me know what you got from this. Let me know exactly your biggest takeaways and what you're working on. I want to hear from all of you. But I appreciate you. I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast episode as much as I have enjoyed recording this for you. And I will speak to you in the next episode. Bye.